This year, the average American driver is set to spend over $3,000 on fuel alone. We're going to show you how you can spend about $100.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth
on Now You Know.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving.
Now, one of the things that I almost never talk about the Henson Shaver about, and I feel so stupid after I talk about it, is the design of the razor itself. It has been designed from the ground up with shaving in mind, not manufacturability, not cheapness of how can we save a cent here and a penny there. We're talking about how can we make the most amazing razor possible.
Like what?
First of all, the thing is entirely aluminum. I'm sorry, there's a little bit of tungsten in it. There's a thrust bearing that's actually made out of tungsten, which is extraordinarily wear resistant, which is why this razor is probably going to last you longer than you live. And secondly, the design is based all around trying to make this the best single-bladed razor that you can possibly own.
I know, but I don't know what you're talking about. What makes it so great?
Okay, so you know when you're shaving with the regular old razor?
No, I don't, actually.
Okay. The Gillette razors, they have all the little blades really close to each other, and it clogs up really quickly, and then you have to rinse it into the sink, and you have to rinse it.
It was 30 years ago, but I do remember that.
You flip it over, and it hasn't changed in 30 years, has it? They've maybe tacked on an extra blade here and there, but nothing really has been changed. The Henson Shaver is really nice because they've actually thought about, after you've shaved the hair off of your face, what happens to that hair. And so they actually have evacuation chutes where you can, when you rinse your blade under the razor, it comes right out.
Wow.
So you're going to be shaving faster. And then just also the way that it holds the blade in there. Unlike other single-bladed razors where you have to really get a good feel for the angle and everything like that, you can pretty much, once you get the hang of it, you just swipe across your face and you're shaving.
Look, I know what you're saying is true because over 2,000 Now You Know viewers have got the Henson Shaver and they're all happy with it.
Yes. You can join them and get this huge deal, 100 free razor blades.
Yeah, use our code.
Now You Know at hensonshaving.com when you check out with the new Henson razor. Those 100 blades, by the way, double-sided. That's 200 shaves with a fresh, clean razor blade. You do the math, even if you shave only once per side, that's going to get you well over a year of shaving. So think about that and head over to hensonshaving.com. The Federal Highway Administration estimates that the average American driver travels 14,263 miles in their car each year. With gas prices poking up into the $6 a gallon level in some states, the average American would be looking to shell out nearly $3,500 a year at the pump.
Now, this isn't also including the roughly $1,200 spent on routine maintenance or the sometimes several thousands of dollars spent on major repairs.
Tack onto that the taxes, cost to register, inspect, and insure it, and the amount of money you spend on your car can jump to over $8,000 a year.
And that's not even taking into account what it costs to buy it.
And now's not the time to be spending this much at the pump.
The working definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth.
And guess what the last 2 quarters consisted of? Did you guess negative economic growth? Congratulations! You're in a recession!
Now, I don't think I need to tell anyone this. Times are tough and getting tougher, and reducing your spend is one way to ensure that you can get through the other side without too much financial hardship.
Which brings us back to the automobile. What was once a symbol of independence and prosperity is now a hefty economic burden, weighed down by geopolitics and shortages of all kinds.
Electric vehicles are far cheaper to fuel and maintain, but if you're not on the list for a new one, you could be waiting over a year for delivery. Now, you could buy a used one tomorrow, but the weird thing is, with so much demand, many used EVs cost more than buying a new one.
We're going to share one of the cheapest forms of transportation, but before we do, you can help convince the algorithm to give us a break here if you'd hit the like button. Thank you. What if there were a vehicle that you didn't have to insure, cost less than 1 cent per mile to fuel, tires cost $50, you don't have to pay to park it, and it costs less than what you'd spend to fuel your car this year? This is the new MQI Plus Sport. It's a moped that can go 30 miles an hour. Why is everyone laughing? I know. It's not a car. It doesn't have air conditioning or a heated massaging backrest. You can't pack up everything you own in it and drive 5,000 miles to your new life in Alaska.
But it is a quiet, clean, and cheap means of transportation that could very well save you thousands of dollars a year.
To those of you already looking for a different video to watch, I understand. Please consider an EV as your next vehicle. But for those whose interests we've piqued, let's get into the details.
We've picked the NIU MQI Plus Sport because it is in the middle of the pack in terms of price and capability. Now, you can spend more and get more, and you can save some money if you need less.
The MQI Plus Sport has a 40-mile range and can travel at 30 miles an hour. It costs a little under $2,500 and can seat 2 people.
It has a removable battery and a charger that can fit in the seat. This means that you can park and charge it at work just like a laptop.
And that should enable the MQI to easily make the average American's 20.5-mile commute to work, charge up, and then scoot back the 20.5 miles home, with plenty of range to stop off at the store or even pick up your friend.
Now, you might be asking, if I'm willing to get a moped to save money, why not just get a gas-powered one? They're cheaper to buy, right?
Well, let's do some math. A 50cc gas-powered moped will get 100 miles per gallon on a good day.
Nice.
If we consider the price of gas at $5 a gallon, it should cost you about 5 cents per mile. Compare that to the average car at 20 cents per mile.
So let's compare this to the NIU. It has a range of 40 miles and a 2 kilowatt hour battery.
At the average American electricity rate of 16 cents per kilowatt hour, that would mean that a full recharge of the MQI would cost 32 cents.
You said cents instead of dollars.
32 cents. 3 dimes, 2 pennies.
So that means the cost per mile would be 0.8 of 1 cent?
Yeah. If you found a penny on the ground for every mile you rode, you'd be cash positive.
So if you found a nickel, you could travel for 7.5 miles?
Yeah. So extrapolating this out, if you replaced all your driving miles with this scooter, and again, the average American drives 14,263 miles, times 0.8 of a penny per mile, you get $114.10 per year.
Wow. That gas scooter would have cost over $700 to fuel.
And again, the average gas car would cost over $3,000 a year.
Wait, so you're saving $2,900 a year on gas costs? That's more than the cost of the scooter.
Exactly. In less than a year, you would have saved more money than you would have spent just on gas.
Wow.
And you'd still have money left over. You could go buy a ton of gummy bears.
Okay, so fuel price is one advantage that the NIU has over a gas-powered moped, but is there any other advantage?
Yeah, this is before we talk about maintenance. Obviously, any moped is going to cost less than a car to maintain and repair, but in a gas moped, you do have to change the oil every 1,000 miles, change the transmission oil, adjust the valve clearances, clean the air filter, clean or replace spark plugs, and check drive belts every 2,000 miles.
You're right, none of this is that expensive, but it is time-consuming to either perform or take to a place to have done. And I guess another thing to consider, though, is noise.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing that mopeds are most well known for. You know, the ring. I think it's the single most unattractive thing about them. It just conveys their lack of power and is annoying and grating to be anywhere near, so you can imagine what it's like to sit on them.
This NIU and pretty much all e-mopeds are dead silent. I mean, it's quieter than most of the e-bikes I've tried.
The NIU does come with a powerful horn and very bright lights, so I think it is good at making itself known without sounding like a doorbell in a blender.
In addition to noise, I don't know if you know this, but the gas engine of a gas moped has no emission controls.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, a 100 mile per gallon 50cc 2-stroke moped will put out about 1/4 of the carbon dioxide emissions of a typical car, so it's good for the planet. But it can put out far, far more poisonous emissions like carbon monoxide, nitrous oxides, and PM2.5. This is because it burns the fuel less efficiently and has no catalytic converter or other methods of cleaning its exhaust.
Now, these are all things that you really don't want to be breathing in.
And again, with the money you'd be saving on fuel, in a year or two, the NIU would more than pay for itself over the gas moped.
Look, I get it. Maybe a moped is just not for you. I mean, you're willing to pay the, on average, $11,000 a year to own a car, and you like it that way.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of reasons why this little electric moped might not work for you. Your commute is too long, your climate is too icy or snowy, you live in the outback and you're worried about kangaroos. I've heard it all.
I know this isn't a viable option for everyone, but even if you don't sell your car, just having one moped to replace half of your trips could still save you thousands of dollars a year.
Right. Even if you're only going to be riding it in the summer and it just replaces most of the trips that you take in your car over the summer, not the long trip all the way up to the beach or to the Hamptons or something like that. Just the around town stuff, you're going to save thousands of dollars. And look, I hear the other crowd too. Why spend all this money on an electric moped when you can pick up an e-bike for cheaper or even a regular old-fashioned bicycle for less?
And you're right. For those of you who are fit enough to comfortably ride a bike everywhere, it is even cheaper. However, the value of improvements that the MQI Plus brings are significant.
Firstly, it's very comfortable. The seat is soft and wide, the seating position has your feet out in front of you, the suspension is buttery smooth, and you don't have to pedal the damn thing, so there's no worries about sweating or chafing.
Next, it's faster than a lot of e-bikes out there, clocking in at 30 miles an hour. In some states, you can even split lanes to skip traffic, making it faster than driving a car.
And lastly, it has great road presence.
Road presence?
Okay, let's put it like this.
Okay.
When you're driving a car and you see a guy on a bike in the road, what do you do?
I pass him.
Right. And when you're driving in your car and you see a guy on a moped...
I guess I just follow along.
Exactly. It has been my experience that motorists are willing to put up with you on the road if you're on a moped, since you belong there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't really think of bikes as belonging on the road.
It's one
Which is
minor,
sad.
it's a minor advantage over the moped, I'll admit, but it is a pretty big advantage on places where you might be driven off the road if you're riding a bicycle.
Now, I think the NIU is a great compromise between comfort and cost. For those with shorter commutes who want to take advantage of high used car prices, you could sell your car, buy this for way less, save a ton of money, which will then allow you to better save up for your next car or EV.
Or a house, or a trip to Europe, or anything. And the even better part is that an electric moped works especially well for young people. For students in high school or college, this moped adds a ton of savings to a part of your life when you're not exactly rolling in money.
Exactly. Trying to make money at a minimum wage job when gas prices, parts, and used cars are at an all-time high price just means more hours away from studying and enjoying what little time your childhood has left.
And on top of the gas and insurance savings, the NIU will be far more reliable than a beater car, ensuring that your aspiring student can show up to work or class every day.
This can prevent the death spiral that a faulty vehicle can cause, where the car goes kaput, you show up late to work or have to call out and lose your job, you run out of money, which you need to fix your car or buy a new one, and pretty soon you're back in your parents' basement.
So if you're interested in an electric moped, check your local regulations. Most states don't require a motorcycle license or insurance for mopeds, though some do.
Many require the moped to be registered, although some don't.
All of this will factor into the cost and hassle of switching.
But at the end of the day, even if you have to register and insure it, it will be less money than registering and insuring any car.
Because I know that these gas prices aren't fun. And I know that it's even less fun to be told, go buy an EV, when you can't buy one because everyone's trying to buy one.
I hope that letting you know about a different form of transportation was helpful. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to Now You Know. I'm so excited that technology like this exists today.
That's right. Even a few years ago, there weren't electric mopeds like this.
Yeah, we picked ours up at a local scooter store called Easy Bikes and Scooters up in Exeter, New Hampshire. The staff, I gotta tell you, like the most friendly people you're ever gonna meet, super helpful, and they had a huge selection of e-bikes and mopeds. Now, we're not paid to say it. We just had a great time up there, and we really appreciate the work they're doing to get people on more efficient forms of transportation.
And again, the NIU MQI Plus Sport isn't the only electric moped out there, but I really love ours.
Now, you can check out our full review of it over on our Now Let's Review channel.
Thank you so much for watching.
Now you know.